Welcome to Table Talk, a place for honest conversations and getting to meet friends. I'm so excited to get to hang out with two of my friends today, and y'all kind of get to hang out with us. It's going to be so fun. This is Sarah Hall.
Hi.
And Monica Pike.
Hello.
So excited to spend time with them. They're so fun and just the sweetest ladies. And I'm so thankful y'all are here with us today. It's going to be such a good time. Listen, both of these sweet ladies are teachers. And so they're just like, they're giving me summertime. It's different.
I have nothing to do now. So
Whatever.
I didn't even know what day of the week it was. I was like,
listen, I agree with it. You probably don't know what day of the week it is.
I'm so glad you texted yesterday because I've just been floating.
We had to actually get dressed.
No, I know, right? I know.
Get up and do a thing. So hopefully y'all are both going to really enjoy your summer and had good school years. And I love y'all are both amazing teachers. I know this to be true. But we could talk about a million things, but today we are specifically talking about if you are here at Sagemont or just in the Houston area this summer, our women's ministry is offering 3 different mini retreats. And so they're Friday night, Saturday. You can just come Saturday if you want to, down at the lodge at Danbury that Sagemont has. Danbury is this tiny town between Alvin and Angleton, about 45 minutes from the church. This nice facility, nice lodge that we are able to use. And so the first retreat is coming up the last weekend of June, and it's for our single ladies, all the single ladies, right? Is it this? Is it right? All the things they're like, please don't do that. No. But so the first retreat is for our single ladies, and Monica and Sarah are a part of the team that's been planning this retreat that's coming up. And so I wanted them to come and share a little bit about what the retreat's going to be, what they're looking forward to, but also the why. Why is this an important thing for us to do? And why are we doing it? And so first, before we jump into retreat stuff, I want everybody to get to know y'all a little bit. So Sarah, you can go first.
Oh, geez.
They were debating about who would have to go first.
Rock, paper, scissors. What do you want me to say?
Okay, so first, share just your salvation story. I always like to start there. Okay. It's important.
Okay. I'm Sarah. I am 20, I guess I can say my age. I'm 26 for a couple more months. I'm a teacher. Like she said, I teach 7th grade. But I grew up in Houston. I grew up going to church, which I'm very thankful to have had that foundation. I actually grew up, I was Catholic for the first part of my life. But then when I was in about 5th grade, my parents started going to a non-denominational church in the area. And that's kind of the first time just as a 5th grader, I really was able to understand Jesus and Bible stories. So that was really cool to actually be around youth and see that. So I got super involved in the student ministry. I love student ministry. All of my friends were there and everything, but nothing really clicked in a way that stuck. I kind of just liked hanging out with my friends on Sundays and all my friends at student ministry at my school. So that was fun. But then going into high school, so my freshman year, I guess, I kind of started to deal with a lot of really heavy mental health problems. And I didn't know where they came from. I didn't know why it was happening. My parents didn't know how to help me. They tried the best they could, and I'm so thankful for that. But for a while, it was just, okay, well, I guess this is just what I have to deal with now. And I didn't see a light at the end of the tunnel, and it was really dark at times. But then my 10th grade year, I went to a weekend retreat, much like Journey, at my church. So shout out weekend retreats. But the pastor there I remember so vividly, he had terminal brain cancer, and he was just speaking on still how joyful and how hopeful he was and how excited he was for heaven and how thankful he was that this is such a snapshot and such a short amount of time on earth. And I was just sitting there, I was like, this is so crazy that this man is dealing with such heavy things and he's still so hopeful. But I think the one thing that really got me while he was talking was him talking about this battle that he had been fighting had already been won at the cross, and there was already victory, and he had nothing to worry about because he knew that that Jesus had already won for him. And so I was kind of just sitting there. I just start weeping, and I'm sure everyone around me was like, what's this girl doing? But that's when I finally kind of just broke, and I was like, Lord, I need something other than myself to lean on. I need your eternal strength. I need your eternal hope, your salvation, because I'm failing. I can't do this anymore. I can't do it by myself. So I really accepted Jesus, and that's when it stuck, was 10th grade hearing that. But also, I always like to disclaimer, just because I accepted Jesus, things weren't magically healed
everything wasn't
overnight.
immediately rainbows and roses.
Yes,
and
exactly. And for maybe for a while I thought that was going to happen, and it didn't. But just knowing that when my head hit the pillow at night, I was going to wake up in the morning, the hope in Jesus that I had would be new.
That's right.
And it would be just new mercies every morning, and that I could lean on the cross, that I wasn't having to lean on my own strength, but I could look to Jesus and say, this thing that I'm dealing with, you have already fought it for me, and you've already won it for me. So nothing was healed magically. It's still an everyday struggle, but the Lord is good, and He has given me a hope that is so much greater than myself. So.
Absolutely. I love that. And the theme for all 3 retreats this summer is enough. And it really is all of us looking at, we don't ever feel like we're enough. I'm not a good enough fill in the blank, whatever your thing is. Right. And then Scripture very clearly tells us, you're right.
Yes,
you're not enough. But you were never supposed to be.
Exactly.
God is enough, and He so wants to fill that hole. And if we're just running around trying to figure out how to be enough, we are going to constantly be running around.
Oh, and fail.
Just
fall flat on our face.
Yes. Yep. So I love that. I think that's such a thing that all of us deal with, and I think sometimes we do. We think, well, once I accept the Lord,
then
it's all good.
Yeah.
And that so often I think can cause people to walk away from the church.
Absolutely.
Especially if they've been presented the gospel in a way that says that that's what's going to happen, in a false way of presenting the gospel. So we have to be very clear.
And I would be upset too. I'd be like, this was advertised as a fix-all. But yeah.
And it's just not. Yeah. It fixes your heart, and you can then deal with the earthly things because of Jesus. It's not that they all go away.
Right. It gives you something to cling to.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love that. I love that.
Yes.
Okay, Mon, salvation story.
Okay, so I was invited to church by one of my dear friends when I was 5. And then my family kind of started going, but my dad, growing up, never went to church because my dad's side of the family was Catholic. And so it was very much like frowned upon, like either you're Catholic or you don't do anything. So I grew up very conflicted. Like I loved church. Those were my people. Like my friends were there.
Yes.
Like I did every church activity. I mean, I was in children's choir. I played handbells. I played piano for church. I sang solos. I did all this stuff. But it was like we did church and then we went home, and they were very separate. And so it was confusing for me. And so I think, like, I knew Jesus from an early age, but I didn't know what that was going to look like as a kid to say yes to Jesus, because I didn't know what that was going to look like at my house.
Yeah.
Not that it was like my house was a scary place or anything, but it was confusing. Because again, very separate. And so I remember I went to church camp. I'd started going to church camp with all my church buddies, starting in like 3rd grade, and heard the name of Jesus. Had awesome leaders. They would do the invitation, and probably when I started to get maybe like eighth grade, I knew that I was supposed to go forward, and I didn't, because I didn't know what that was going to look like. And so I remember there was 1 week at camp, and they had presented the message, and every night my heart is racing. And I knew, like, I'm supposed to go up there. And I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And on the final night, they said, this is it. This is the last night of camp. And I don't know what happened, but I was up there. God just said, and I was like, oh.
Here we go.
And then that was it. Like, I had already said yes at that moment. And so I was so thankful for that, because I don't think that I wouldn't have done it without the Lord pushing me. And sometimes He has to make you really uncomfortable to lead you into what you're supposed to do. And so I put my faith in Him. And I think for a long time I was still a baby Christian. Sure. I still didn't really know what it looked like to really have those deep roots in your faith. But then we moved to Houston, started going to Sagemont, got really, really plugged in with, the first Bible study I went to was a precept class. Probably.
Oh, wow.
Probably
jumping in.
Probably not that.
Right.
But from then on, I just felt those roots really deepening and finding people that had shared faith and shared values, and who would walk life alongside me. I joined Mothering Matters and had an awesome group of ladies. Mary Trainer was my leader, and like I just for once kind of felt like, okay, like this is it. Like I finally kind of felt what that was, again, to feel like Jesus is with me. Like whatever happens, I'm going to be okay. And thank goodness for that, because life got really, really hard. And without that cornerstone, like I look back and I'm like, how did I go through all those things? And the answer is Jesus.
That's right. That's right.
Answer is
That's
Jesus.
good. Yeah. Share a little bit about your season of singleness, since you're kind of leading into that. And I'm going to get you both that question.
Yeah. It's been almost 10 years. My husband just one night just came and said, hey, I have to tell you something. And told me that he had been having an affair for a year. He had hid it from me, hid it from everybody. And my whole world just fell apart. I had no idea. I knew that our marriage was not in a good place, but I had no idea that is why. And so it was awful. I mean, it was. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And you were right there walking with me.
Yep.
But what I do know is that once, kind of like the initial shock, because I was just, I had no words. I'm like, what do you do when somebody says that to you? After the initial shock kind of wore off, and I really started, like crying out to God, and oh my gosh, and the fear that set in and all of that, there was a really, really distinct moment in my closet where I spent a lot of time writing scripture, crying, screaming, just all the stuff broken in my closet. I remember I got to a point and I just said, God, this is not what I want. I don't want this. But if this is what's going to happen, if this is the path that you have for me, we're going to be okay. You and me. Like, I do not want this. I don't want this for me. I don't want this for my children. But God, if this is where we're going, and I think this is where we're going from what I'm seeing, you and I were good. Yeah. And that was a real turning point for me. Just to go, okay, like I have this faith, and now I have to put it into practice. Because I've said I trust him, and he's seen me through stuff. Nothing like this, but am I going to really kind of forge that path ahead with him? And I did. And again, I look back and I'm like, how did I do that? And the answer is Jesus. Because he provided everything that I needed. Not only was he a comfort to me through his word, just through just speaking peace over me, but from the comfort of just people from the church that he brought to me, friends that stepped in. My workplace was just amazing, all of those things. So that was 10 years ago. My divorce will be final 9 years this September. And again, Betsy was there, walked me through the whole thing. I mean, you never imagine you're going to walk into divorce court. But there I was. And God has just proven to be faithful over and over and over. It is not all rainbows and unicorns. There is still a lot of yuck. Every day there's a lot of yuck. And I still get angry. Like I'm still mad. I'm still, you're human. God, this is not fair. But he's been there the whole time. Provided me a house that I bought on my own, like has taken care of me and my children financially, like health-wise, just so many things that he's done. So that's why I'm single. And
it's been, and you're, I mean,
very cool.
You're right. I was there from the night he told you all the way through all of it. And it is one of those from the outside looking in. You're right. I never would have wished this on you or anyone. It was gut wrenching, even from the outside. I mean, it was gut wrenching.
Sorry.
No, it wasn't your fault, girl. But watching you over the last almost 10 years walk in faithfulness and trust, even on the days it has been, I am trusting you to just get out of this bed today. Like watching you be so purposeful and cling to him so hard has been a huge encouragement to me and to so many others. And I know, probably many occasions, but I know specifically one where he's already used what you walked through to bless somebody else that walked through a very similar situation. And you were so willing to go, 10 years and you cry. It's emotional. I could. I mean, it still is. And I think that's such an important thing for women to understand of you don't get over something, you get through something. And then it's okay for it to still be hard. It's okay for it to still hurt. It's okay. Well,
it's grief.
Yes.
And grief is not like linear.
It's not just gone.
Right?
You just get over it.
You're just kind of, it's like this circular thing that it's going to keep coming back.
Absolutely.
You have to keep.
You could be good for a week and then,
a random thing.
Something hits, a memory comes up, or just,
And I remember
my garbage disposal by myself. Just,
somebody has to do a thing
for this.
No, that kind of stuff
should not be my job.
Right. I remember a conversation we had, and I don't remember how long, where it was in the timeline, but I remember a conversation where you and I were chatting, and you said, "Okay, it has dawned on me because I hadn't thought about it, and you hadn't either. I'm not just divorced; I'm single." And there was this weird, you're single, and really, and I don't know if you remember that, but I remember us talking through and going, okay, what does that mean? It was a whole, this whole thing of okay, let's process through that. And this was probably years, after, but it was processing through and going, oh, that's a whole different label that now is back going, oh.
Especially when you never expected to be again.
Right. And so how do I walk through that? And how do I handle that? And so that is one of the, one, I like hanging out with you. And so I like asking people to be a part of teams, and I'm like, well, it's going to be fun. But like I said, I've watched you walk through this and do it so well that I was like, I need you to be a part of this team. Because I want women to see women that have walked through similar things as them in the singles retreat. And I've had many women say, well, what kind of singles are going to be there? All
of the above.
It's widowed, it's divorced, it's 60 and never been married.
Right.
It's 20 something and never been married. So it's this huge spectrum. And the way the retreat is set up is we're going to have sessions that are taught and then breakouts. The sessions are very kind of general. This is for everybody. And then you're going to be able to break out and really talk to kind of, hey, this is the season I'm in. Right. Let's dig down into that season. Yeah. And so I love the team is very, tried my best to get people from every different season of singleness. And so your season of singleness.
I don't want to follow that. That was so good. No. I'm sitting here learning.
So terrible.
But now I'm sitting here learning. I was like, wow, this is.
I'm telling you. Yeah, she's a wealth of. She's a wealth of.
I'll read the book.
Yeah, she's fabulous.
Gosh, I've been single since. Well, okay, so. I guess it's
because how old are you?
26.
Okay, 26. So do you
almost 27?
Is it a thing where you're like, I struggle with single in 26? Do you not struggle with single in 26?
Depends on the day.
Okay, there you go. That's it.
To be fair, my Sagemont story really ties into my singleness story because I never went. So I went to A&M. Okay. Whoop! I lost my ring. Yeah, anyways, I went to A&M, and I don't know, it might have been the same while you were there, but it's very much a ring by spring. You are engaged, if not already married by the time you graduate. So when I graduated, I was in a relationship, and I had planned to move to a different city. I was never going to come home.
Yeah.
I had plans to move to a different place. And then like a week before I graduated, I very abruptly became single and was not expecting it. And so that's why I'm back in Houston. And kind of like you were saying, very different. But I was so like angry with God. I was like, this
was the plan.
No, I was like, hello, I don't think you understand what you're doing right now.
Right.
Because it was perfect. It was Christ-centered. I felt like I'd done everything right. And so I'm like, I think that there must be a blip in the plan here. Mm-hmm. And so honestly, the first like year that I was back, I was like, okay, well, this is temporary because it's going to change. We're going to work back out and whatever. And so here I am 4 years later and still, but I was so like now looking back, as angry as I was and as upset that I was, the timing of it could not have been more perfect. And obviously the Lord's timing is more perfect than anything. And we don't even understand all the ways that he's in control, because as soon as I graduated, I started my first year of teaching, and I cannot fathom having been in a relationship or in charge of anyone but myself my first year of teaching, because that was so difficult.
Yes.
But I mean, the way that the dominoes have fell perfectly into place with me coming back home, coming back to Houston, is just like, I've seen more fruit and more blessings from coming back here than, well, one, that I'm worthy of, but two, that I could have ever seen. And so that first 6 months when I was back home, I was so resentful about being home. And I love Houston. I would have been so sad to leave, but it wasn't my plan.
That's on the plan. Yep.
And so that first 6 months, I was trying so hard to not get attached, but I've met like the most amazing people who a lot of, and it's just been so fruitful being home. And it is hard because like all my friends I graduated college with are married, have babies. All my high school friends are married, have babies. But one thing, and you probably feel the same way, is like, and I know this is kind of cheesy and rehearsed, but just truly that like my plan is so much different, and it's my own plan. I'm not on anybody else's timeline. I'm on my own timeline. So yes, I'm 26, and that's still so young. I know that, but I don't know. Some days I'm like, oh, I could have a husband. Some days I'm like, thank God I don't have a husband. So I don't know. It really varies by the day, but I've really loved being independent. So But
I think it's so interesting because it doesn't matter what your age is or even what your marital status is. Comparison will just spiral you out
of control. Right.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
It can be, comparison is just from the enemy.
I have very freshly married friends that are like, why did I do this so young? Like, why I should have stayed single and all this stuff. So it's like, no matter where you're standing,
That's right.
Someone else has it better than you.
If you're looking at something else, and then we so often go, look what they have, and we forget to even go, but look at the blessings
but look at what I have.
that I have.
How thankful am I?
Yeah.
That, yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I love that.
I'm chilling.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so good. And again, I think it's so important. I told you the theme of the retreat is enough, and it's that part of comparison will make you feel like you're not enough.
Absolutely.
And having to stop that. And we're going to have 3 teaching sessions on Saturday at the retreat. The first one is The Lies You Believe, which will be taught by Miss Monica Pike, which is going to be really good. It's going to be really good. The second one we're going to talk about is Singleness Theology. And Allison Hips is going to teach that one. And it really is looking at, as a single, where's my place in the church? Because listen, if you've been in church very long, and I've talked to so many of my friends that are my age and single or younger ones, and they're like, where do I fit? Where's my spot? It's like we have student ministry, we have college ministry, and then we have everything.
Yes.
And a lot of it is geared to couples and families and all of that. And so we really want to look at just singleness theology. And then the last one, Andrea is teaching, and it is...
It's about trust, like putting your trust.
Yes.
In, like trusting God's
the plan. That's what
plan.
we're talking about. Yeah. This is the plan he has for me. How can I walk out and trust that? Andrea Parker is going to teach that session. And so just good information, good things to talk about, things that maybe you're like, I haven't ever really even thought about that. And to be able to come and have time to sit and be purposeful in thinking, where am I? What lies am I believing that I need to put away and find truth? And so it's going to be a really Friday night. is going to be the fun night. So Friday night's optional. You can come for the whole Friday night, Saturday, or you can just come Saturday. Sarah's in charge of Friday night. So it's going to be fun. I don't even know what we're doing. But it's going to be fun. And so if you want to come down Friday night and then spend the night, you can. If you want to come Friday night, drive home and come back, because like I said, it's not that far. That's fine too. All that's on the website. Go register. You can let us know you're coming. We already have a pretty good crowd that's coming. So I'm excited. It's going to be so fun. Why do you think, this is for both of y'all, what would you say to someone that came up to you and said, I'm single, but I don't know that I want to go spend a weekend with other single ladies, or like, I don't know that that's what I want to spend my time doing. What is the response to that?
Do you want to go first?
Well, I would say, like, I am very much like an introvert. Like, I could be happy just to like stay in my house and just kind of be by myself. But I know that God has a greater purpose for me than that, and there's so much value in community, and so I tend to isolate. That's like my first instinct. I get my feelings hurt. I get whatever. That's just my first instinct, and don't do that.
Don't do that. Monica says.
Just from learning, because I've missed out on so much because I've said, I don't need to do that, or I'm tired. But I think I said yes to this, and then I was like,
I was very excited.
Why did I say yes to this? But I know that there's a reason that I said yes, and so say yes.
That's right.
Come and meet people, and even if you're like, well, my season doesn't match up with Sarah or Monica, it doesn't matter. Like, there's still this commonality of. Just the whole singleness thing, wherever your season is, like there's so much value in learning from each other and just being real with each other and finding some people that you can kind of like walk life alongside.
And I think there is such a gift in sharing the story that is yours and the Lord's. Even if it's hard, but sharing your story with somebody else, you might think, well, I'm going to come and I just want to get blessed. Like, I need to get filled. I'm going to come this weekend. And that's awesome. But I will almost guarantee you that if you're willing to share what Jesus has done in your life and your story with someone else, you'll get blessed by doing that, And so it's that come to get filled, but also be willing to share. Somebody maybe needs to hear your story to go, oh, I'm not the only person that's ever felt that way.
Yes.
And that's a huge part of the community and everybody getting together because, listen, isolation is the enemy's favorite playground.
That's what I was going to say. I think a lot of people equate singleness to, well, I'm alone, and I think that's so the opposite of the truth. And like you were saying, the enemy wants you to feel alone. He does not want you to feel the community of other believers around you, because that's where he is put to death. And so, like, it might be like, let's be honest, if you're coming, you might feel uncomfortable for the first 30 minutes, and that's okay. That's normal. But part of being uncomfortable is growing. And
that's right.
How cool. I know. So I've been to Kenya several times, and Sagemont is a very large church. We can all agree on that. But something like this is a way to make it smaller.
Yes.
Since I've gone to Kenya, I've met so many incredible people that I would have crossed them in the hall and I would never have looked twice. But now I have these people that I say hi to every Sunday morning. And so, like you said, the community part of just being surrounded by women that are walking the exact same path that we are at the end of the day. But I also think it's cool because, I would have never met Monica if not for this. But just the different generations of women too, the mothers and the not mothers and the elderly women that I can just sit and learn from. Like you said, I'm sure I will hear stories at this retreat that I'm like, wow. And Monica, as different as hard your situation was, there were still bits of knowledge that I'm sitting here listening to, and I'm like,
absolutely.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
I think it would be a great disservice to any single woman that is maybe just too scared to go.
Yep. I saw a quote this week that said, if you hadn't gotten uncomfortable, you wouldn't have moved.
No, exactly.
And I was like,
Yep.
That'll preach.
That'll preach.
Like, that'll preach.
Put it on a pillow.
And it's that thing of we so don't want to be uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we're just striving to get comfortable, which is not what we should be working toward in our lives. But man, God uses that uncomfortableness to move us.
Yes.
To get us to do a thing.
Yes.
I mean, you even think about, like, when you're sleeping, if you're super comfy, you don't move, but you move when you get uncomfortable. And I was
That's a
like,
good point.
oh, that uncomfortable. That's the thing that gets you to.
If you're scared of being alone, you can come hang out with me and with Monica.
Yes.
We're faces that you'll know.
Listen, I will tell you this, honestly, if you are like, I don't want to walk in the doors and not know anybody, you reach out to me ahead of time, and somebody will meet you in the parking lot, girl. Well, we don't ever want that to be a reason for you not to come. So we've got listen, Sagemont is filled with amazing women.
Yes.
And Sarah is right. It's a really big place. And if you park in the same spot and go into the same class and sit in the same spot at church, you're going to see the same people. You are missing out if you don't get a little uncomfortable and go into a different area and get to meet all kinds of different people. And so it's going to be such a fun weekend.
I'm not going to leave.
I know. I've thought of that. I'm like, how are we going to get everybody out? No. But I will tell you, the planning that has gone into this retreat for our single ladies is so purposeful and so specific. The whole team that is planning this retreat is all singles. I'm in the room just because I have to do the logistical stuff. Correct. I'll be there that weekend, but I'm not doing anything of it. It is for singles, planned by singles, led by singles, and I am so excited. Like, I think it is going to be such a blessing for every woman that's willing to say, I'm going to show up for that. So, and all of you that are already registered, thanks. We're so excited you're coming. The overnight rooms, there is limited space for overnight, like if you actually want to spend the night in the room. So register for that early. If you want to get a room, that's going to fill up. But Saturday won't fill up. We're going to have plenty of space for everybody. And it is going to be a little bit smaller and intimate. I'm thinking we'll probably have 60, 70 ladies versus a Sunday morning when there's 2,300 people.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. And so you will get to actually interact and chat and talk to some ladies and make some connections. And we've got some next steps that we'll have you do before you leave that day to help that continue outside of that weekend as well. We don't want it to be a one-off just on a weekend. We want to be really purposeful with that. So thank y'all so much for coming today. I appreciate you so very much. Y'all, if you see them in the hallways, ask questions. They'll let you know things. Like I said, go online to the sagemontchurch.org. Go to the event page, scroll down. You will see women's retreats, and it says singles, mothers, and wives. We have one for each of you. If you're watching this and you're like, I'm not a single, but I want to come. Okay, we have one for wives and another one for moms. Both of those are in July. You can register for those. Yeah. We will be talking about those on upcoming table talks as well, so you can hear more and more about those retreats.
Maybe.
We'll see. And here's the deal. You can go to more than one, right? You can totally go to more than one. And you should be seeing a flyer that actually says what the sessions are for each one. So if you're trying to go, I'm a single, but I'm also a mom, which one do I go to? You'll be able to see the topics that are going to be discussed at each weekend. So you can go, I really like that topic. I need to go to that one. So we're getting you all that information as well. But I love y'all both very much. Thank y'all for being here. Y'all, share this with a friend and invite them. You don't have to be a Sagemont member to come. Invite your single friends. We'd love for them to come join us as well. So thanks for hanging out on Table Talk. We will see you next time.